football spirits in Denver, always mile high, and the Oakland Raiders are in town. The long-standing rivalry with the Denver Broncos, and this rivalry will be seen in high definition here on CBS. And talk about the names Raiders and Broncos. How about the Mad Bomber Darryl LaMonica as we search through the past, the incomparable John Elway and marvelous Marcus Allen of the Oakland Raiders, elusive Floyd Little, big bad battling Ben Davidson, and the snow goose Carl Mecklenburg for Denver. Hello everyone, and welcome to this AFC Western battle. It's simple, the seasons of these two teams. The Raiders can't win the close ones, and the Denver Broncos have come from behind to win the close ones time and time again, and that translates in the AFC West standings as you see Denver with a 2-game lead and a chance to build on that. San Diego plays Indianapolis later. Kansas City has already lost. As we welcome Randy Cross, Mike Shanahan, with all the injuries to the Broncos this year, maybe his best coaching job ever.
I agree, Dick, and especially when you consider, if you count the two kickers, 18 of the 24 players are 3 years in the league or less, but he does have the advantage of having one of the more talented and young quarterbacks in the league in Jay Cutler.
The Raiders, with only 2 wins, need some good news. They get some. Their best pass rusher out for more than a month. Derek Burgess is back, but the offense hasn't scored a touchdown this month, 3 games.
Yeah, but they're getting Darren McFadden back at running back. He's got a lot of pop and sizzle and hop around. I think he'll be able to run the ball effectively today. And Jamarcus Russell had the best week of practice, according to Tom Cable, his head coach. The ball never touched the ground. Jamarcus spent the last couple of days at his godmother's funeral, came back in town late last night, rejoined the team, and he's ready to go today.
The Broncos will kick it off, and Matt Prater, who has been as successful as any in getting the ball in the end zone, has it teed up. 53-degree, perfect Sunday afternoon, very little wind, east-northeast, a quarter wind, 13 miles an hour, and we're ready to go. Prater sends it spinning to the goal line to Justin Miller, the former New York Jet. Miller, whoa, does he go down on a clothesline at the 19-yard line. Tackled by Vernon Fox. Jamarcus Russell, strong-arm quarterback from LSU. And he needs to pick up this Raider offense. The last 6 games, they've scored only 39 offensive points. That's averaging 6.5 points a game. That will not get it done. He opens action at the 19. New coach Tom Cable wants to go deep. We'll see how soon he calls for the long pass. Justin Fargas tries the left side for a couple of yards. As we check that front 4 or 5 for the Raiders offensively. 4 years ago, Robert Gallery was the second pick behind Eli Manning. He's found a home at left guard. And wide receiver ex-Bronco Ashley Lilly has worked his way into the starting lineup for the Raiders. Lilly is that threat for the long ball. Couple of yards on first down for Fargas. There's Gallery setting up. John Wade is at center for the injured Jay Grove. And off to Fargas, and they spin him down at the 23-yard line. And these reserves battling into the lineup for the injured Broncos, doing a great job. The rash of injuries forcing a 4-3 for Denver. Up front, defensive end Ebenezer Ecubon leads with 4 sacks. The 3 starting Denver linebackers at the beginning of the season are all injured. Rookie Spencer Larson moves from fullback to middle linebacker. All-pro cornerback Champ Bailey is also out. Rookie free agent waived by San Diego Josh Bell from Baylor starts at cornerback. And Roderick Rogers, another rookie, for injured Marlon McCree at safety today. Can the Raiders take advantage of that youth? 3rd and 6. Underneath, the pass complete to Zach Miller, the tight end. Won't be good enough for the first down. Denver, we always talk about how well they play in their first possession offensively with the scripted plays of Shanahan. But how about the Bronco defense? They've not allowed a touchdown on the game's opening drive to an opponent all year long.
You talked about that defense and all the new bodies, Dick, but the last 3 games, counting this one, they fit in the gaps perfectly and done very well.
Shane Leckler leading the league, almost a 50-yard average, kicking it to the brilliant rookie Eddie Royal for Denver. Royal burned the Raiders in the first game of the season. Deep kick, room to run now, and no, what a stop there, and the ball is loose. Ball loose and finally covered at the 9-yard line. It will be ruled down at the initial point of contact as the Play made by Trevor Scott, the defensive end, on special teams.
It's a matter of when it does come out. Eddie Royal's trying to get the corner. Scott does a great job of getting the legs. Is it coming out before he's down? The knee is down. Then the ball is out. That was a very, very nice call.
And a terrific special teams play by Trevor Scott. Had he not tripped up Royal, Royal had a big avenue down the left sidelines.
Not bad for a defensive end, huh?
Boy, is he down there. 16-yard line to start for Jay Cutler and the Bronco offense. And hit in the backfield is Peyton Hillis of Arkansas. What a play by John Olson, who is starting for the injured Ricky Brown at linebacker. Cutler's protection has been truly top drawer. He's been sacked only 7 times in 10 games. The result, he's third in the NFL passing yards, and he's third in touchdowns with 19 in the league. Protecting Cutler's blind side, rookie tackle Ryan Clady, Broncos #1 draft from Boise State. They think he's a Pro Bowl player. The Broncos have lost 4 starting tailbacks to injury. Tatum Bell, released by the Lions, begins today. Throwing almost for an interception to Thomas Howard. It was closer to Howard than Brandon Marshall. Raider defensively, 4-3 base. Welcome the return of defensive end Derek Burgess, out for 6 games with a triceps. Oakland's linebackers are led by the speedy Thomas Howard, third to Morrison in tackles and solid in pass coverage, as you saw there. The deep defense, the player called by Shanahan is the most underrated he can ever recall, Nnamdi Asomugha. So good, few throws are directed to his side of the field. He's on the left side. Miami didn't throw one pass over there all game a week ago. There's the pass to Hillis. He runs upfield to the 25, and he's tripped up for a first down out at the 28-yard line. Nice little play. Rashad Baker comes up to make the tackle along with Asomugha, but a first down for Denver.
Well, Peyton Hillis, a teammate of the gentleman across the field, McFadden in Arkansas, talked all the time about how versatile he's been and how many different things he can do, and said at times that's a curse. At other times, coaches love the fact that he can catch and he can run and he can block. Shows there he's got those hands.
250-pounder. Give it back to Hillis, and Hillis is out to the 35-yard line, and a gain of more than 7 on first down before Kirk Morrison can make the stop. And how about a look at Randy's crosstalk?
Oh, look at that Denver running game. You know, when Terrell Davis was here, it was about stretch and cut back. They want to get the ball, they want to stretch, and then look for the gap and cut back. Well, things have been a little bit different the last few weeks for this offense. They've been going right at people. Not a whole lot of stretch, but a lot more power. They tried to do it on the very first play, but no one blocked John Alston. He almost caused a fumble.
2nd down and 2 for Cutler and the Broncos. That's Royal in motion to the inside, and right back to Hillis. And he's out to the 39-yard line, and another first down. Thomas Howard, the tackler. So Hillis, Michael Pittman, who's now an injured reserve, said about this young guy, he reminds me of a bigger Mike Allstott. He's 6'2" and 250, but can run like a small man.
And he will yes sir you for a while, won't he?
He's
very,
nice
very polite, from the country in Arkansas. Grew up a big Razorback fan.
Tatum Bell has replaced him. Bell, who was selected by the Broncos in the 2004 draft in the 2nd round, then sent to Detroit. Lions released him, now back in this Mile High City.
False start, .78 offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Jeff Triplett tickets Ryan Clady, the rookie from Boise State, for Clady only his 3rd penalty called against him this year, and he's allowed only 1 sack. They just raving about this young man who protects Cutler's blind side. First down 15, shotgun Cutler, 3rd-year star out of Vanderbilt, with a quick arm, and he's so accurate. Throws this one too high. Well, Hillis was open, but Cutler overfired.
It was a really nice job. Howard, the linebacker, 53, was a step behind Hillis, and Cutler missed him.
And we may have a roughing the quarterback penalty on Howard.
Forearm to the head. 15-yard penalty, first down.
I tell you, Derek Burgess gets down below in the back, on the back of his knees, and hits him. I don't know about the hit to the head, but if you watch 56 right here, watch him come into the back of the legs of Cutler after he follows through and throws it. And then Gerard Warren gets in there and gives him a little bit of a shot, but the bad shot was from the backside from Burgess.
Oh, Burgess making his presence felt, but in a negative cause. He and Warren create the 15-yard penalty in the first down on a 1st and 15 play. Ball at the 49 now of the Broncos on their first possession. One of the best in the league scoring on that first possession. Tatum Bell gets a couple into Oakland territory before Jabril Wilson at safety can get down low and trip him up.
You know, Dick, you mentioned the fact that Mike Shanahan had made the comment about Nnamdi Asamoah, about what an unbelievable talent he was at corner and how underrated he was. And Asamoah, though he smiles and loves the compliment from a coach like Mike Shanahan, he also pointed out pretty quickly, oh, he's going to come after me then.
That's a tip. They're setting me up for a hitch and go.
You got to at least try to go deep on him. You got to at least try that once.
Let's see if he does here. No, he throws underneath, and it's complete to Brandon Stokely, the slot receiver, and Stokely is out of bounds at the 41-yard line, right at the sticks. Stanford route covering, and it's another first down.
So there's Asamoah. Stanford route is on the inside. Marshall kind of picks him right here, and coming from this direction is Stanford route. He can't get there in time. That's an easy little, well, no pun intended, Dick, but that's easy pickings.
Oh my. First out at the 40. Sunday form. Randy Cross, UCLA 49ers. Give to Bell. He rings up a couple to the 38. Warren and Morrison team up on the tackle. Tatum had some troubles here in his first stay when he's drafted as the 41st in that 4 draft. He fumbled a few times. That didn't set well with Shanahan. Traded him off to Detroit.
And when you see him leave the field, you'll usually see he and a linebacker come off, a tight end come off the field, Tony Scheffler. That means the receivers are on, that means Hillis is on, and that usually means the pass is on.
On second and long, it's to Hillis, and he's breaking one tackle and powers his way inside the 34-yard line. Rashad Baker comes up to make the tackle. That'll bring up third down for the Broncos.
And Dick, this is a Raider defense that has struggled against the run, and as I explained in that crosstalk about the run going right at the Raiders defense, that's exactly what Hillis does. There was no stretch to that because they are a very quick defense. You have to go right at them. Go right in between those defensive tackles, go at the linebackers, and be happy with a 4 or 5 yard pickup.
So third down, 10th play of this drive. There's that quick trigger from Cutler for a first down to Eddie Royal. What a combination they've become. Royal leads all rookie receivers. That is his 57th catch of the year.
If it wasn't for that combination, the Washington Redskins wouldn't have D'Angelo Hall playing cornerback for them right now because it took 8 games, but Al Davis and company got rid of D'Angelo Hall because Eddie Royal tortured him in that opening matchup between these two teams.
Tom Cable trying to stop the Shanahan drive. Very precise for the Broncos. There's the pass and a break of the tackle by Brandon Marshall, and Marshall leaps his way inside the 10-yard line. First and goal for the Broncos.
There was a great article in the local newspaper talk about tackling in the NFL and how it isn't very good. Stanford route, bad tackle. Ryan Clady might have caught a little piece of him to help it make it be a bad tackle. But that's how you draw it up. It's the receiver's responsibility to make the first player miss. He makes 2 or 3 miss along the way. That was a great example of some pretty shabby tackling.
Yeah, it was one of the reasons, the bad tackling, that Shanahan has changed his coaching plan for practice during the season. We'll get to that after this play. First and goal at the 7. Fumble by Hillis, and it's recovered by the Raiders. Hillis could not take the handoff, and it's picked up by Jabril Wilson at the 5-yard line. Oh, a disastrous fumble for Shanahan's rookie runner, Peyton Hillis.
Well, this isn't the wild hog in Arkansas. It's just a straight hand up the middle. Jay Cutler was short. Hillis was wide. The ball's on the ground for the Raiders.
Hillis with a fumble. The Raiders take over at the 5. The Broncos are a -11 in turnover differential this year. give to Fargas for short yardage. They had not turned it over in 6 quarters, and in the games they've won, they've been either even or on the plus side.
Watch Turdell Sands. He runs out. Ben Hamilton goes in. Sands gets right in front of Hillis. Hillis is trying to make a move to get away from the big defensive tackle and doesn't close down. See that? Number 90's right in his face. Hillis, number 22, going for an evade, evades the ball.
And his fumble, Hillis right to Wilson, a total gift. Second and long. Jamarcus Russell from his own end zone. Down the middle. And complete to the 11 to the tight end, Tony Stewart, former Cincinnati Bengal, just his 8th catch of the season. From Penn State, and congratulations to Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions on their way to the Rose Bowl.
When I think of a school like Penn State, and I think of Paterno players, very solid, very fundamentally sound.
Linebacker.
And that's what Jamarcus Russell needs to be surrounded by right now. He doesn't need flashy and spectacular. He needs solid. Somebody to give him some confidence and give him some support.
Third down 3, shotgun for Russell. Good protection. Look at that shot. Complete out across the 30-yard line. And it goes to Ashley Lalee, the 7th-year receiver from Hawaii, a #1 draft pick of the Broncos 6 years ago.
Well, any low look at this pass ought to come with a vapor trail, Dick, because he rears back, and they're playing in a cover 2, just a zone defense. And Jamarcus Russell throws that thing about 25 yards and would put a hole in a stucco wall. I mean, that thing just goes.
Hang your Monday wash on that liner. 22 yards. Both of these quarterbacks claim they can throw it 80 yards. Justin Fargas finds a hole off left tackle. Out to the 39 before Jamie Winborn, the former 49er, can make the stop. Winborn filling in for Boss Bailey. He's on the injured reserve. Yeah, they've got Spencer Larson, the rookie in for Nate Webster, who has a knee, not active today. Wesley Woodyard, another free agent linebacker, playing for DJ Williams. So it's really a makeshift defense for these Broncos, and they played very well the last 2 games.
They are great, Dick, in their gap responsibility. They are exactly where they're usually supposed to be.
Second and 5, and a quick throw outside is complete to the sidelines and a first down to Darren McFadden. McFadden's first appearance, they set him out wide, but a flag is down. Injured Broncos, there they are. Williams with a knee, Webster a knee, Bailey's out a month now with a groin. They think he might come back next week.
Offense. Number 77 that was on the end of the line prior to the shift, an illegal formation. 5-yard penalty.
Quaim Harris, the left tackle, and that's not his fault. He's been haunted by false start penalties all season long.
Well, you saw the last minute, Marquand Manuel, the safety, was way out of position, was running at the last second to try to get over in position. Just about the time you're saying they get to the place they're supposed to be, they're somewhere they're not supposed to be.
Second and 10, wipes out the 5-yard gain by Fargas on first down. Screen it. Fargas. Good blockers out in front. Finally toppled at the 42-yard line. A yard and a half shy of a first down. Wesley Woodyard, the rookie from Kentucky, with the tackle.
And Tom Cable, the head coach of the Raiders, has just got to be scratching his head. When we talked to him last night about his offense, he didn't really know what to say. He says, you know, it's vexing me. It's vexing my staff. I know it's frustrating the football team. And he put his finger really on one area of all these bad stats offensively. He says, we're just trying too hard. We're trying to be too perfect. He goes, I've got to convince these guys it's okay just to go out there and have fun and play.
Yeah, we're excited, but we're not convinced. On third and short, Fargas. He can't get there. What a charge defensively from Jamie Winborn. He filled the hole and stopped Fargas cold, shy of the first down.
Well, to be a good running team, you got to run with 8 guys in the box defensively. Denver has 8 in the box. Jamie Winborn brings just his one body of the 8 in the box and rejects the running back, Fargas. I mean, that wasn't even a form tackle. That was a flat rejection. That's something out of a video game.
Racing over from the offside linebacker spot. So Leckler into punt for the second time as we come near the end of this first quarter. Oh, look at this one. Watch out in South Denver. Man, can he kick. Shane Leckler, who owns the NFL record now for the best punting average ever. That one for 59 yards. Touchback to Denver. Yeah, they're making snow up in the mountains down the slopes of Loveland here in this great area. And of course, around Thanksgiving holidays, many of the resorts are fully open. Aspen and Vail and all the great spots to ski. First down at the 20 for Denver. No score late in the first quarter, and Cutler to throw. Eludes the pass rush again and throws incomplete. Intended for Daniel Graham, the tight end. Well, you can follow all of today's NFL action, fans, with live game centers. And don't miss the exclusive game recaps right from the booths around the NFL tonight at CBSSports.com.
Well, there's a little bit of what you want to have happen if you're the Raiders defense. Get Jay Cutler off his spot. He throws well on the move, but get him off the spot, disrupt the timing of this offense.
On 2nd and 10, back to Hillis. They want to get him the ball after the fumble on that last possession. He's out to the 26, bring up a 3rd down and 4.
And that pressure that came on the first down play, Dick, was what came around Ryan Clady, really, and Kalimba Edwards. And Derek Burgess, now just back from that injury, are doing a nice job at creating that pressure. Clady, one of the better young left tackles. I mean, Joe Thomas got a lot of love last year as a rookie for Cleveland. This kid right now out of Boise State, I think, is playing every bit as well.
Kalimba Edwards starts today for Jay Richardson. It's 3rd and a long 4. Cutler fires and completes first down to Stokely. Out at the 31.5. Brandon Stokely, such a compliment to big Brandon Marshall and the speedy rookie Eddie Royal.
And Cutler moves a little bit, but he moves mainly just for a look. He wants an ability to see his receiver more clearly. There's Ryan Clady, 78, going against Kalimba Edwards. You know, you got to be a big left tackle like that, Dick. You've got to be part ballerina, part power lifter. And you got to be all kind of nasty, because you'll get challenged on a regular basis as a rookie. Guys will take shots at you. They'll swing at you. They'll try to get you to break your composure.
They rave about his feet. You talk about ballet. There's Kalimba Edwards unable to get there, and Cutler does find Darrell Jackson, and Jackson wasn't touched. He's on his way for a touchdown. Can he outrun the defense? No. Dragged down at the 5, the 4. Rashad Baker saved the touchdown, but may have created one of the Raiders the opportunity for the score when they didn't down Darrell Jackson. Let's see what the call is.
Now he gets down. Is he touched? He's touched there.
So he's down, touched by Jabril Wilson.
Of the first quarter.
At the moment, it stands as a 64-yard play. We'll see if it's reviewed. The end of the quarter, the Broncos, the Raiders, no score, will return to the...
Well, it's really pretty simple. It's got to be some contact in the act of going down here. You look right at the back, right there, and obviously Stanford Routt is getting a hand on Jackson's back as he's going down. No matter which way you look at it, whether it's from that end zone or this end zone, you'll see it even more clearly right there. That hand is right on the back of Jackson's as he's going down onto the ground.
Tom Cable has challenged, and Jeff Triplett, our referees, under the hood.
Either way this thing goes, that whole play was set up by Kalimba Edwards having a free shot on Jay Cutler, and Jay Cutler made him completely miss. I mean, that's the case of a smaller quarterback making a big defensive end look kind of silly, and it made him change directions fast, and it bought himself that time to get the ball off to Jackson.
Cutler's now at 233. Remember, last year he lost over 25 pounds in the last half of the season, and they didn't know what was wrong with him. And in the offseason, they full examination detected a diabetes 1 condition. So he is on a machine, doesn't wear it during the game, on his stomach, but being fed insulin. He has to check his blood sugar even during the course of the game with a finger prick. And now has gained all the weight back, and he certainly is a budding star here, and he's full of confidence. Well, there it is from two angles. There, the touch by Stanford Routt. And not much. It wasn't what forced the tackle. Jackson was stumbling and falling anyway, but the rule says if you make contact on the play, then that is a dead ball right there.
Triplett makes his announcement. If he makes a misinterpretation, if he makes a mistake, the other official has it written down. He can tell him he made a mistake.
Okay, Oakland number 26 touches the back of the receiver who catches the ball at the 40-yard line and down by contact. So it will be Denver's ball, 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. Oakland is not charged a timeout.
So at the 40, it's still a big play for the Broncos and a first down as we open this second quarter.
Did you see that shot of Mike Shanahan? You think maybe he wants an explanation right here, but it's pretty clear that that hand is right on Jackson's back. Stanford Routt has got his hand on his back as he is going down to the ground.
But in the live look that Shanahan had, and the play was right immediately in front of him, it certainly was very subtle, that touch, but good enough to save a lot of yards for the Raider defense. Play now is a 28-yard gain instead of a 64-yard play.
And reminder, just that this should look funny when you come back here watching, we've changed quarters. So instead of being in the left 40, they're now on the right 40. We're in the second quarter, and Tom Cable's defense will have their back to the other goal.
So the challenge system as we continue to try to make an imperfect world perfect. And they're adding the second official under the hood, or to the side of the hood, to try to accommodate that.
Only one mechanic under the hood.
Good idea. Cutler looking. And intercepted. And it's going the other way for Chris Johnson.
Flag.
Can he outrun? There's a flag down. Johnson showcases and almost lost the ball. But it's in the end zone. Now the flag will be critical. Eddie Royal chased him down. Johnson laying off his receiver that darted in front, and let's see if it counts.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a little illegal contact on the defense, I believe.
Prior to pass, holding number 37 in the defense.
Oh my.
First down.
Oh, so that's why you get in position to make the pick. All right, it should be relatively easy to see that Chris Johnson gets a hold of Eddie Royal and pulls himself away.
Chris Johnson, who has moved into the starting lineup after D'Angelo Hall was sent off. And he has his second interception for a few delightful seconds. 65 yards approximately, no touchdown penalty.
Here's the matchup right here. It'll happen right about here, just as Eddie Royal goes into his break. Watch the right hand of Johnson. He reaches out and he just gets a little piece of jersey. He gets the tug and pulls himself by. That isn't much, but it doesn't take much. Defenders know in this league they've got about a 50-50 shot at getting away with that.
So first down instead of a touchdown against. Broncos first down and 10 at the 35. Handed off to Tatum Bell, and Bell, the former star at Oklahoma State, a sizable gain on first down.
You know, Dick, Jay Cutler, you mentioned how we have two of the bigger armed quarterbacks in the league, and that interception was a testament to Jay Cutler's faith in his arm. Jamarcus Russell has the same kind of thing. I mean, he will look at receivers. If he thinks he wants to throw to a receiver, both these young quarterbacks will just let that thing rip.
Cutler has said, I've got a better arm than John Elway, hands down, earlier in this season. That caught some eyebrows raised here in the Denver family. He said, I didn't say I'm better than Elway. I just said I have a better arm than Elway.
Right. And the start he's on right now for this season, though, after 10 games, you know, that speaks for itself. He's having one of the better years throwing the ball. He's one of the reasons. I think the coaching of the younger players and the development of the younger players, of Mike Shanahan and the staff, along with the play of Jay Cutler, has enabled this team to be 6-4 under some adverse conditions.
It's sacrilege to compare yourself with Elway, isn't it?
Well, he didn't, like he said. He goes, I didn't say I was a better quarterback. I just said I had a stronger arm. But that's kind of like saying I hit the ball farther than Tiger Woods.
3rd and 4. Handed off to Hillis, and he's greeted immediately by the Raider defense. And filling the hole was Kalimba Edwards at defensive end.
Kalimba Edwards, you know, when you hear the penalty unimpeded towards the quarterback, well, Kalimba Edwards is coming from the top of the screen, and he's unimpeded to the running back. No one even touches Kalimba Edwards, and he gets into Hillis's ribs before Hillis really gets a chance to go anywhere with the ball.
So out comes Matt Prater to try a 47-yard field goal. He's missed only 4 all year. He's 5 for 5 outside the 50. How is that for this former free agent from Central Florida? And this one is winding right. Does it come back? No! Just wide to the right from 47. So Mike Shanahan's Broncos denied on their second drive. No score in Denver.
CBS is sponsored by Sprint. Get NFL Mobile Live only from Sprint, only on the Now Network. And by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability.
So Matt Prater from 47. The wind is blowing to the right. This one wanted to come left, didn't it? And
Just not enough draw.
It fails from 47, and it's still scoreless here, and a good field position then for the Raiders at
No
the 37.
Jamarcus Russell. No Jamarcus Russell. Curry's the quarterback.
Curry, a former quarterback at North Carolina, wide receiver now. Looking. He's going to run it. And he doesn't get much out of all that. Out to about the 39-yard line, a couple of yards on the play. Back comes Jamarcus Russell. Oh, a wrinkle thrown in by Tom Cable, the first-year interim coach of the Raiders.
Well, it's worth a shot. Just a little something. Try something different. It's worked for a lot of teams, and it hasn't worked for more successfully than Miami. Miami came into the game today against New England, averaging 7 yards a crack out of that Wildcat.
And second down and long. Jamarcus back in. His quick trigger throw is complete to Ashley Lilly, who steps out of bounds at the Bronco 47 with a first down in front of rookie Josh Bell, who is in there for Champ Bailey.
Remember I said earlier about solids and basics? Well, Denver's running a zone defense, and you need a veteran receiver to find those spots in the zones, and that's one of the basics that Ashley Lilly can bring to Jamarcus Russell.
15 yards on the gain to Lilly. Darren McFadden comes in at tailback. McFadden has been nursing that right toe, that turf toe, all season long. Wears a plastic cup on it. They think he's better than ever. No one in the backfield as a quarterback. It's McFadden at tailback. This is the old Wildcat, or the Wild Hog. And McFadden gains good yardage down to the 35-yard line and a first down. Well, you talk about those Razorbacks of Arkansas. They're invading the NFL as rookies this year and doing quite well. Thank you very much. A year ago, Arkansas upset number 1 ranked LSU 3 overtimes. McFadden, now a Raider, rushed for 206 and 3 scores. Peyton Hillis, now a Bronco, finished with 4 touchdowns, including a touchdown catch from McFadden. And he ran for the game-winning scores. Arkansas beat LSU 50-48 in 3 overtimes. Here's McFadden with the toss. And the speedy top draft pick down inside the 35-yard line.
And just to sort of the finishing touch on that whole thing, about a year ago today, they beat Jamarcus Russell's LSU Tigers by doing that, going down into Baton Rouge and beating LSU. And that wasn't necessarily the start or the genesis of the Wildcat, but the coach that came up with the Wildcat idea ended up coaching in Miami this year and brought that with him.
That was the Wild Hog down there. And don't forget, Felix Jones was also in that backfield. He's had some starring moments with the Cowboys before an injury. Farguson, 2nd and 7. Oh. Jamarcus downfield to the tight end Miller, and Miller is to the 3-yard line. They beat the rookie Roderick Rogers, playing for the injured Marlon McCree at safety.
What a beautiful job by Jamarcus Russell of selling the defense. You know, you got that Wildcat, and watch everyone react to the play fake. As a play fake comes here, the defense reacts in that direction. They bite big time, and no one even comes close to going with Zach Miller. He runs right up the middle of the field.
First and goal at the 3 for the Raiders, trying to score a first-half touchdown for the second time all season. This is their 64th possession, and they are down to the 1 with Fargus as he slams off left side, and Mario Hagan makes the tackle. Here's their last first-half touchdown, the Raiders. And it went to Zach Miller against the San Diego Chargers, their only first and only touchdown. That was way back in week 4. And of course, they have not scored in November as they attend to defensive tackle Marcus Thomas. And Miller grabs his breath, the tight end from Arizona State. While they attend to the big tackle here early in the second quarter, we'll take a timeout. Defensive tackle Marcus Thomas is one of the more nimble players on defense in the league. He can do a standing backflip. It served him well on that last play. Saved a serious injury. Fargus Jamarcus is cartwheeled short of the touchdown. That ball on 2nd and goal inside the 1, and it was Carl Pema, a backup cornerback, who shot through to make the hit.
Yeah, I talked about that article. It was criticizing NFL tackling. Randy Gradishar was quoted in that article, and Randy Gradishar, the middle linebacker of the great Orange Crush defenses, he'd be nuts about Carl Pema's tackle right there. That's not a form tackle, that's a blow-up.
A yard loss in the play, so 3rd and goal at the 2. The Raiders now have gone 196 plays between offensive touchdowns, or since an offensive touchdown. Give it to Fargas, hits his own blocker, stuffed at the 3. Kenny Peterson invaded, and he was helped out on the play by Wesley Woodyard, the rookie. It may not count. There was a flag down.
Prior to the snap. Timeout.
Yep.
Denver.
Denver called a timeout before the play was run. So Tom Cable's team will have another chance from the 2-yard line.
Steve Freeman is the back judge. Mike Shanahan is down at the bottom of the screen trying to call a timeout. Freeman notices it, and that cancels out that 3rd down play.
So they replay at 3rd and goal from the 2. Back to Fargas. Fargas leaps off tackle, can't get in. What a surge by this defense of the Broncos. And Winborn led the way again.
Dick, you talk about those new linebackers. You have a free agent in Winborn, an undrafted free agent. On one side, you've got Larson in the middle. Larson makes a pile. Winborn comes in late. That's all 3 linebackers, a defensive end, and a safety. And the Raiders are going for it on 4th and 2.
Jamarcus Russell has been perfect in the air this first half, 6 for 6. Does this call for the pass? 4th and goal, and Jamarcus Russell calls time. Oh, what a sequence. Who wins it, offense or defense? 4th down, and Tom Cable, the Raiders interim coach, this is a believe call for him. He wants his team to believe in himself. The logical play is the field goal in the lead. He wants a touchdown from outside the 2. That's Curry and a flag down before the play. No play. Thrown by the referee.
Both start. 44 the offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Credit the 76,000 partisans here at Invesco Mile High with that penalty call.
And the call was against Luke Lawton, the fullback, number 44. Was getting ready to be a pass off into the left flat into the end zone. You see that quick twitch. You see that settle and that move down he made. You can't move. Once you put your hand on the ground, you cannot move.
So Sebastian Janikowski, the talented long ball kicker for the Raiders, tries this short punch from 26, and the Raiders have the lead 3-0, taking over at their own 37 after the missed field goal by Matt Prater. Janikowski gives them the lead. Our director Suzanne Smith is a talented skier. She told our producer Bob Monsbach, you'd love to shush. He said, I haven't been quiet my whole life. What do you mean shush?
Well, that's a good illustration of how I ski. I ski on a short rope.
Very short. And strong. Long kickoff by Janikowski to the back line. And Cutler and the Broncos will start at the 20-yard line. 8 minutes to go here in the first half. Skiing we go. And welcome back to Denver, where the Raiders here with 8 minutes to go in the first half enjoy a 3-0 lead on a Sebastian Janikowski 26-yard field goal. The Broncos in first place in the AFC West by 2 games. Raiders in last place with Kansas City. There's the long bomb to Marshall, almost intercepted by Johnson. Chris Johnson, who had a pick and a potential 65-yard return for a touchdown earlier, but called back on his own holding penalty, almost nailed that one.
Dick, you get the Raiders in their favorite coverage, man free. The safety over the top, he's the free part. Johnson manned up with Marshall. Beautiful job of getting between Marshall and the ball, and there's nothing Marshall can do.
And watch what happens here. Johnson lands on Marshall's leg, and Marshall crawled off the field injured. On second down, it's Hillis. He's wrapped up after a couple by Kalimba Edwards. That brings up 3rd and long for Cutler and the Broncos.
You know, one of the reasons we're seeing so much of Johnson at cornerback is pretty obvious. Is Nnamdi Asomugha is on the other side of the field. And I don't care if it's Marshall, I don't care if it's whoever, Eddie Royal, Brandon Stokely, you just don't go after the Raiders corner, number 21, Nnamdi Asomugha. He should be all-pro. He should have been all-pro for a while now.
Remember the lonesome end at Army? Well, he's the lonesome cornerback. Nobody wants to visit his area. You saw the good news for Denver. Marshall is back in the lineup. Cutler steps away from pressure, throws underneath, and it is complete to Stokely, the sure-handed slot man, as he makes the catch in front of Stanford Rout.
Hey, one thing you know, if you've got Asomugha on one side, and in this case it was Marshall at wide receiver, they're running off down the sideline, and that opens up the whole underneath area for Brandon Stokely, who's also manned up against Stanford Rout. So you've got that going off, and on top of the screen there's Asomugha and Marshall. They're gone. So that is out of the way, and Stokely's got that whole side of the field to work against the corner.
Boy, what a move he put on Rout. He had him stumbling. Here's the cutback. Found the opening, did Hillis. Finally tripped up at the 44-yard line. A gain of almost 9 before Rashad Baker, who's seeing a lot of duty today. Baker at safety.
Nnamdi Asomugha got in on a little tackle there and actually hitting Hillis on the hip. He's slow to get up. He's still down on the ground. He might have gotten himself a little stinger trying to tackle that 250-pound H-back slash fullback slash halfback slash receiver.
At 4.5 speed, Hillis.
I know they throw that slash nickname around, but anybody who weighs that much, you don't call him slash. And that's Asomugha, but just putting the helmet right into the thigh pad and coming away the worse for it.
Asomugha helped off the field. Here's a young guy. I'm impressed every time I talk to athletes in all sports, but yesterday in visiting with Asomugha, he just is stunningly intelligent and articulate and sensitive. He takes young kids from Oakland juniors and sophomores in high school on visits to college campuses, wants to inspire them to go on with their education. Took some to MIT, to Harvard last year, going to take 10 more in April. What a young man this is. 2nd and 1. And hit in the backfield is Hillis. You could hear the crack on that one as Kirk Morrison, who grew up in Oakland, attended Bishop O'Dowd College ball at San Diego State, made the tackle.
Yeah, you see, this is just one-on-one. I'm better than you. I'm badder than you. Hillis does a nice job of putting his shoulder right into Morrison, but Morrison, you hear the term wrap it up. No matter how hard he hits you with the shoulder, Morrison's got the legs, and that running back's going nowhere without the legs. That was a very nice tackle.
3rd and a short yard. Hillis on a toss. Plenty of daylight. 50, 45, out of bounds at the 43. Howard ran him out. And the Broncos, as they have every possession, moving the ball almost with ease at times, but yet off the scoreboard.
Just a beautiful flip, nice play design. Look at Ryan Clady, 325 pounds. He gets out there and does a beautiful job on the cornerback lead blocking out there. Just Justin Miller, the ex-Jet, was out there, and Ryan Clady looked like a pulling guard. Heck, he looked like an H-back.
And Kalimba Edwards walked slowly off the field after the play.
Well, they got a little tickle of the face mask by Thomas Howard. That in the past would have been the little 5-yard variety, Dick.
So Edwards off the field. Jay Richardson, the man he replaced, is in. Well, first down at the Raider 43. Tatum Bell now in the backfield. And he's hit by Jabril Wilson, who came quickly from his safety spot. So a reminder, folks, tomorrow on CSI Miami, there are 3 murders one day, and you won't believe who the suspect is. All new CSI Miami tomorrow on CBS, America's most watched network. Denver, Colorado, Mile High City, 4:38 remaining in the opening half. Broncos trailing 3-0. 2nd down and long. Cutler in the shotgun. And then he swings it into the flat, complete to Bell, and he's hit immediately by Chris Johnson. And Johnson playing a heck of a half, isn't he?
You know, Chris Johnson, you hear the story about giving it up and giving a little bit of your body up when you make a tackle. There's a great example. Listen to this. Now that is making the contact, hitting through the ball carrier, and taking him to the ground.
Good job by Bell to hold on to it. That's the kind of hit that sees the ball flying loose. And Chris Johnson, who was a 7th-round pick back in '03 by Green Bay, finding a home in Oakland at that cornerback spot. Cutler just gets it off, throws underneath, and who else but Stokely? Always seems to be open. First down at the 26-yard line in front of Michael Huff.
Well, they're testing a little depth of the Raiders. We saw Asamoah go out. You saw Johnson go out. Now you've got route working on one receiver. You got Jabril Wilson, a safety, working on another receiver. And you got Huff working against Brandon Stokely. And I'm sorry, Huff has got no chance of staying with that slot receiver who was referred to by Peyton Manning 2 years ago as the best slot receiver he'd ever played with.
And Stokely now with 4 catches to lead all receivers and 42 yards. Clock ticking down to 3:22. Opening half. Did they get that off? Just barely. Cutler lofts it up for Scheffler. Incomplete. Broken up by Huff. Huff just did get that right hand on the ball, denying Scheffler a touchdown. Broncos felt that with Scheffler's speed at tight end, they could get him open deep.
Well, it's a beautiful matchup as far as Mike Shanahan's concerned if you get him on a safety. And Huff did struggle early, but he recovered and got back in time to get that arm across and knock that ball away. That wasn't even close to pass interference. They're both looking back at the ball like that.
Huff was a 7th pick, 1st round out of Texas, and had been in the doghouse and had been subjected to the bench with Hiram Eugene playing in front of him, but he's seeing some duty today with the injuries. Cutler. The other side. Incomplete to Brandon Marshall. But again, what a laser throw by Cutler. Oh.
Well, and he's going to keep throwing those passes because you've got man free. So you've got Route working against Marshall. He's got no help until late, and Route just does get the hands in there to break it up. That was more of a distraction than a breakup by Route. And Cutler just zipped that thing in there. That's 30 yards and had a little smoke on it.
That's that cornerback looking at the receiver's eyes and hoping he reaches in at the right time. It's 3rd and 10. Empty backfield. 2 wide receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Cutler gets rid of it. Incomplete to Eddie Royal. And that was just forced by the pressure on the quarterback. He had to throw while falling, and it was Chris Johnson coming in. No, Johnson was the man covering, and the pressure came from Jabril Wilson.
Nice job by the Raiders of pressuring Jay Cutler because he knows he's got man on the outside. That's how he killed the Raiders in the first game. D'Angelo Hall got ripped apart by Eddie Royal earlier. Johnson does a very nice job of staying right with Eddie Royal.
Prater out for the field goal try. He missed from 47. This one from 44. He was wide right the first time. And this one does draw right down the middle. Started right. And good action for the Broncos. Prater, it's tied at 3 in Denver. We're tied at 3 here in Denver with just under 3 to go. You'll get all the scores and highlights in the Sprint Halftime Report. JB and Company, that's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Justin Miller deep for the Raiders with the Jets. 3 kickoff return touchdowns for the son of a mother who was an Army drill instructor. He's a yes sir, no man kind of guy. Miller comes up on a short kick, very short on the run, and he doesn't get the seam. Bounced down at the 33-yard line. Thanksgiving weekend, the Home Depot SEC and CBS celebrating the holiday Friday gang, 2:30 Eastern, LSU and Arkansas. Then Saturday, join us at noon, a doubleheader on CBS, Georgia Tech, Georgia, followed by Auburn and unbeaten #1 ranked Alabama. That's on Thanksgiving weekend, Friday and Saturday here on CBS.
I live outside of Atlanta. I know what'll be on at my house. That SEC football is huge.
Great lineup this weekend, and don't forget Thursday, our traditional holiday game from Detroit. Flag down, no play. Look at the size.
Both start. number 20 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
As the players walk by Jamarcus Russell, the Bronco players that reminded us yesterday, they said, we just can't believe when you look at him in the huddle and when you see him on the field, how huge Jamarcus Russell is.
Well, look at that huddle. His left side, Robert Gallery and Quaim Harris, they're both 6'7", about 315, 325. He looks them both dead in the eye, and he's about 280.
Listed at 260, gently.
Yeah, so am I.
Justin Fargas sees a big hole, and he keeps right on it, churning out to the 40-yard line. So on 1st and 15, Fargas picks up a dozen.
And that run right there is the reason that Justin Fargas is sort of still an Oakland Raider, still carrying the ball in the NFL. He wouldn't be cut. He wouldn't be denied. He just keeps going and going. You've got a guy like Darren McFadden behind him. You've got a highly successful back like Michael Bush behind him, but they just can't get this guy out of the starting lineup.
Yeah, Cable called him an amazing pro and a great influence on the youngsters McFadden and Bush. Bush now is at tailback on second, and there's another whistle at the 2:11 mark.
Denver, their second. It'll be
Shanahan saw something, didn't like the defense on the field. Timeout, 2:11 to go in the half. All right, Randy Cross, why did Shanahan call a timeout there?
Well, pretty easy. Mike Shanahan saw that they had a little matchup problem. You looked at Darren McFadden, their halfback. He lines up on the outside. Looks a little lonesome. You talked about the lonesome end. That's how they drew the lonesome end up, isn't it?
You don't want to leave that guy with that speed at 4.3 alone like that.
Russell's out of the backfield.
Russell's to the left, and McFadden is in the tailback on shotgun formation on 2nd and 3. And he keeps it himself and is close to the first down right at the yellow line at the 43 as the clock ticks down to the 2-minute warning. And we'll return to Denver, where the Raiders battling the first place Broncos, tied at 3. Back in Denver, listen up, you Redskin fans. Vote for your favorite players for the 2009 Pro Bowl today at NFL.com. Then enter for a chance to win a trip to Hawaii. See the 2009 Pro Bowl. You can vote online or on your mobile phone only at NFL.com/Pro Bowl. 3rd and a half yard. Handoff to Michael Bush and a flag down. It looked as if there was illegal motion forward by the Raider player that had gone in motion behind Jamarcus Russell. It looked like he had to jump ahead of the snap.
Yeah, might have been headed towards the line of scrimmage.
Yep. And Chaz Schillens. Yep, that's it. Backfield in motion is the signal.
illegal motion, offense. We'll determine whether it is a first down or not. Correction, they decline that foul. It'll make it fourth down.
So they did not make the first down. Well, Tom Cable, he was going to gamble on going for it, 4th and goal at the 2.
He's supposed to keep going that way, and he ends up going towards the line of scrimmage, Dick. Watch, slow down, go.
Yeah, too itchy.
Yeah, the Raiders will punt here. I know they gambled earlier, ended up kicking the field goal, but.
So the 5-yard penalties seem minor, but they've been major all season long for the Raiders, and that's what happens with teams that are 2-8. The little self-destruction moments that deny opportunity, even though they didn't make it on that case anyway. Here's Eddie Royal, ever dangerous as a returner, and Shane Leckler will try to hit this one as high as the top tier of this stadium to deny a return. No draw offside. Leckler sends it very high. Royal with a fair catch. No, he lets it go. Look at that. Almost kicks back at the 1-yard line, rolls into the end zone for the touchback. What a leg Leckler has. A reminder, the Sprint halftime report, JV and Company. If you're anxious to hear how those games developed, the early games, final scores, the top highlights, well, it's all coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Stay with us. Leckler thought he had the perfect punt, plenty of length and right to the 1-yard line.
Well, if you don't want it to roll into the end zone, I suggest you kick it on an angle and kick it inside the 5-yard line if you're that accurate. If you can drop it on the run, you can drop it on the 3 out of bounds.
Raiders didn't use much time on that possession, so a minute 45 left for Cutler, who throws it long for Marshall, incomplete, and it's Johnson again there to break it up.
Once again, it's man free, which is the man coverage is on the corners. The free is the free safety who can come over and help, and he's getting a little late help over the top is Chris Johnson. But Chris Johnson does a very nice job. Here's the safety. We talk about that man free. He's the guy that's free that's able to help right here. Look at Johnson. He sees the hands coming up. He gets the left hand out. That's a beautiful job. Baker gets there just in time to distract Marshall, and incomplete.
1:40 to go. Broncos have 1 timeout left. He's going deep, and he's got Royal sprinting and catching. No! Could not hang on when he hit the ground. What an effort by the speedy Eddie Royal, the second-round pick out of Virginia Tech, who has just been electric for the Broncos this year.
Same play identically, except that it's Marshall, and Baker doesn't get there in time. Johnson is beaten by 3 yards. Royal dives out to make that catch, lands on the ball, actually, is what gets him. The ball just kind of pops in underneath him, but Johnson was cleanly beaten, and Baker would have been no help. If Royal catches that in stride, he goes all the way.
What a great effort. Royal to the sidelines to catch his breath in this mile-high climate. And Cutler will go to the spread and whistle before the snap.
Timeout. Denver.
Denver uses its final timeout with 1:33 left in the half. Dick Enberg, Randy Cross back at Invesco Mile High Stadium, where the Broncos tied with the Raiders at 3. Look at 3rd down and 10. Now for the Raiders, an incomplete pass here, and the Raiders with 2 timeouts left might have a chance before the half.
Keep an eye on Scheffler, the tight end in the slot, top of the screen.
No, it's a draw, and the quarterback Cutler doesn't quite get to the 30-yard line. Kalimba Edwards able to tackle him a half-yard shy. And the Raiders immediately will call a timeout, their second used. So Tom Cable hoping that Oakland will have a chance in the final 1:25. Rookie Brett Kern from Toledo, the former Rocket, his first punt attempt apparently at 4th and 1 at the 29. And Johnny Lee Higgins, 93-yard kick return against Miami last week. 15-20, 25-30. Got some blockers now. He's going to go all the way. Johnny Lee Higgins back-to-back. Miami and now Denver. Punt return touchdowns for the Raiders. 89 yards for Higgins. He told us yesterday.
Celebration foul.
Well, that'll be a foul, and the Raiders' lack of discipline, even that happened on Chris Johnson, showboating on the interception where he thought he scored a touchdown earlier.
After the score, unsportsmanlike conduct. Oakland, number 15. That 15-yard penalty would be assessed on the kickoff.
And that will hurt the Raiders because they'll kick off on the 15-yard line, and it'll give Denver with 1:06 left a chance to get the equalizer. I was going to say that Higgins at the University of Texas El Paso once had back-to-back punt return touchdowns, and then in the 3rd game against Houston, his hometown area, he said, I had another one. They said I stepped out of bounds. It would have been maybe, I think, an NCAA record 3 punt return touchdowns 3 straight weeks. Well, now he's done it twice in a row in the NFL. Janikowski. And the Raiders, surprisingly, big underdogs here in Denver, have a 10-3 lead. As Johnny Lee Higgins from Sweeney, Texas, the former Miner at UTEP, he found the mother lode again on this one.
Well, Josh Barrett misses the 1 tackle, and here's the 2nd tackle that's missed by linebacker. And now you're going to see something that I haven't seen too many times in the NFL. I've been around the league about 31 years. Look right here, John Alston, the linebacker, just coming in from the backside. He's got his helmet out. Actually, he has his helmet in his hands, and he's going to give a little escort down the field. I got to get the explanation on that one.
Mario,
I have got to hear that.
Alston had his helmet knocked off, I guess, in a confrontation blocking for Higgins. He's not taking time to put it on. He just wants to escort him into the end zone.
That's a linebacker, though. He's trying to find somebody. He doesn't even have a hat on. Now he's heading this way looking for somebody to block. Maybe you want to slip that thing in your hand on your head.
Alston from Stanford. Maybe on the farm, they say now and then you got to use your head there. That's a high academic institution.
Now remember that penalty for the flip that was called on Johnny Lee Higgins. Now you got to kick off from the 15-yard line. Now keep in mind, there's still 1 minute and 6 seconds to go. Is this going to give Denver a chance to get an answering score here?
Yeah.
What normally would be a huge momentum break, but no, they get a penalty, and they're going to give Denver good field position.
Yeah, Higgins is given. Now is he going to take away? Janikowski with that big leg. Look at this from the 15 to the goal line. 85-yard kickoff. Eddie Royal trying to, tackled from the side by Stanford Rount. As Royal, he was one player away from finding that path on the sideline as well. Tony Stewart makes the tackle, the tight end.
How about the leg on Janikowski? The 15-yard line, it wasn't on a line. He kicked that thing 85 yards. Most normal teams are getting that ball in the 40.
Absolutely.
Now you've got 2 minutes, about 59 seconds to go in the game, and in the half. It totally changes the game plan.
Johnny Lee, I'd go over and give old Seabass a pat in the back after that kickoff. Here's Cutler looking for something big. Throws into the sideline. Complete to the 31 to Eddie Royal with a flag thrown. 54 seconds left in the half.
Defensive holding against the Raiders.
They gained about 5 on the play, and the penalties for 5. You saw Stanford Routt.
Stanford Routt better handle himself. Get him out of there if you're a teammate.
Come on, Jeff
Illegal
Fredman.
contact, 26. Defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Routt felt he was innocent. That's the 7th Raider penalty, 55 yards in this half. First down at the 31. Well, we're talking a lot about Janikowski. Would he get a chance in this high altitude to try a possible record-setting field goal attempt? He showed his leg there. Here comes the long throw to Royal with Johnson covering very well. Chris Johnson has counted for his talent rather nicely, wouldn't you think? You know, they let D'Angelo Hall, who made $8 million in 8 games as part of his contract, but was released. Now playing with the Redskins, and Johnson, who has seen very little duty, basically a special teamer. And he said, on one thing I'm going to do that D'Angelo didn't. I'm not playing off. I'm going to play up on my man and try to bump him early, get in his face.
He was out here early before the game, a couple hours before kickoff, working on his technique, working on his body position, working on using his hands.
Well, he played off a little bit here as Cutler throws over the middle to Marshall. Marshall with a catch, tries to wiggle free, brought down at midfield. And here's Cutler indicating he's going to down the ball. Jabril Wilson made the tackle. No timeouts for the Broncos. 34 seconds remaining, and now 31.
12 men on the field.
Raiders have another penalty, and that'll be 5 yards more for the Broncos.
Trevor Scott, the defensive end, wasn't able to get off the field.
There are 2 fouls on the play. 12 men on the field. Defense. That penalty is declined. Offside. Defense. That penalty is accepted. 5-yard penalty. Still.
It must be so frustrating for Raider fans year after year after year. The penalties.
Now here's Scott right here, and he's headed this way, running off the field, trying to get out of bounds. And you couldn't get the defensive lineman, Tommy Kelly, couldn't get back onside fast enough.
So at 31 seconds, Cutler trying to get even before the intermission, escapes the pressure. Now he's going to have to hurry. Throws back across the field. Incomplete. Trying to hit Brandon Marshall. Good coverage. And flag down at midfield. Jabril Wilson was over to help on the last play.
Brandon Stokely, Dick, was wide open.
Personal foul. Number 53, roughing the passer. Lowered his head right into the chest.
It's just
15-yard
it's
penalty.
tragic.
Automatic first down.
The self-destruction of the Raiders. Another penalty. Whoa.
Well, what's roughing the quarterback?
Yeah. What's
it's
wrong
not illegal to hit the quarterback when he's got the ball. How's he supposed to not? That's slow motion. That's garbage. That's following instructions, and Jeff Triplett is doing what the league wants him to do, take care of quarterbacks, but that is garbage.
He didn't. It was not helmet to helmet. Thomas Howard did what you're taught to do. Tackle a man with a ball.
So now you're in field goal range at least. You've got 22 seconds left. You got time for a couple of plays into the end zone. Empty backfield.
And it's Cutler with a run at the 25-yard line. And now they got to hurry back to the line of scrimmage with 14-13. The seconds tick away. Raiders not caught with 12 on the field.
He's going to run it down to the field goal now.
Fans wanted one more shot at the end zone. A bit surprised myself that they didn't go once there. But obviously Shanahan says after this half, we'll take the gift 3 after the punt return touchdown by Higgins.
Yeah, and I know the Raiders would be mad at that penalty that Howard got, but you ought to be happy that Jay Cutler didn't see Brandon Stokely, because Brandon Stokely was by himself. Where you saw the ball come up short for Brandon Marshall, on the outside, on that same side, Stokely was running free down the sideline.
43-yard field goal attempt by Prater is good from 44, missed from 47. This one's hooking, no good. So he's been right. Missed the first field goal right, drew it in from the right side, good from 44, and overshot to the left at the end of the first half. So the Oakland Raiders trying to brew up a big upset here in Denver, Colorado. Lead 10-3 as Prater, who had missed only 4 all year in 21 attempts, is 1 for 3 in the half today. Unhappy ending of the half for Prater and the Broncos. 10-3 Oakland. We'll be back with a Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 10-3 against the heavily favored Denver Broncos, and this game brought to you as always in high definition here on CBS. Well, it's a weird, I mean, after the game, you're kind of sorting out, trying to assimilate what we've seen. Weird comes to mind.
Yeah, and don't forget those 2 missed field goals.
Right.
That could come into play. I mean, the Raiders' offense has been a little bit better than we've seen it. I think Tom Cable's seen some of that. I think we've seen Denver make mistakes that, to me, are uncharacteristic of Mike Shanahan's football team. I expect them to solve that a little bit when they go in at halftime, because if you're Mike Shanahan, you've got a fumbled handoff. That's inexcusable. So really, your job is to kick field goals. Yeah, well, you know what? I know it's 46, 47 yards, but, make it.
This is there, right, now left.
That's an overcorrection. And you're letting the Raiders stay right where the Raiders tend to do, and they keep it close. They keep games close. Now, they don't finish well, but if Tom Cable can make these young guys believe that they can beat the Denver Broncos, they will beat the Denver Broncos.
This game reminds you of one earlier this year?
This is a lot like the Jets and the Raiders earlier this season,
where the Raiders won in overtime as the kick skips down and taken along the sidelines by Tatum Bell, and he's out of bounds at the 15-16-yard line.
Yeah, there's another mistake. Tatum Bell lets that thing bounce around. That doesn't go on the stat sheet we see here. But look at the time of possession. Everything looks like it should be going Denver's way.
200 yards to 123. The one turnover critical down on the 5-yard line on the missed handoff, with Hillis coughing it up. But the Broncos moved the ball with relative ease on almost every drive to manage but 3 points. Bell starts at tailback. Didn't get a chance to give some love to Chris Johnson, but what a half he had, the cornerback. Up top to Royal. Incomplete. Over the top of Royal's leaping try, covered by Johnson and Hiram Eugene, who came over from safety to help out.
Yeah, I'm curious, as much of a man look as they're getting, and with the kind of talent that they've got in people like Scheffler and Schock and Brandon Stokely and whatnot, I'm surprised his offense isn't doing much in the intermediary area with up the seam, crossing patterns, things like that. Everything seems to be down the field. That's all fine and good, but short term's good too.
And Stokely seems to always be open. Hand off to Bell. Feels his way off tackle for one. Well, it'll be 3rd down and 9 at the 16. Thomas Howard led the defensive charge. Young man from Lubbock. His dad, Thomas Sr., was an All-America at Texas Tech and played in the league with Kansas City and the St. Louis Cardinals then. About as fast as any backer in the league. In fact, he plays like most Denver Bronco backers do. Shanahan loves those lightning fast linebackers. 3rd and 9. Hillis with Cutler in the shotgun. No pressure. Cutler out of the pocket, going to run it himself. Able to skip away. Bad tackle, and he's going to get the first down. What an effort by Cutler. He's running like a scat back.
Well, he made Thomas Howard, who you were just talking about, miss, and then he makes Nnamdi Asamoah, one of the better tackling corners, miss. Howard has a clean shot at him here. Little juke. Little straight arm to the back of the head. Now he makes Nnamdi Asamoah miss, and then, I mean, that's a singular effort. Columba Edwards finally gets him.
Dragged him down. So Cutler keeps the drive alive. That was on 3rd and 9. Fake handoff, rolls away from pressure, throws across the field, incomplete. Yes,
no.
Caught. What a catch by Scheffler. Over the top was Hiram Eugene. And Scheffler used his body to shield the defender away for another first down.
Now, you always hear never throw across your body, and Hiram Eugene got a piece of that, and Scheffler traps it between his thighs. He never catches it unless you count your thigh pads as hands.
Yeah,
but the ball never hits it, and the ball never hits the ground.
Scheffler's been a Bronco with Western Michigan, and now a Bronco with Denver. Look at this big hole, but it closes as Tatum Bell is hit by Kirk Morrison. We talked to Morrison, and this steady 4-year backer from San Diego State. And how do you and the other players, when you're 2-8, manage to give yourself hope in a season, to play as hard? He said, listen, it comes down to the end of the game when I have to look my opponent in the eye and shake his hand. I want him to look at me and say, hey, you really played hard for 60 minutes.
That in every play is filmed.
That's
and
right.
Everyone in the league sees it.
It's my legacy in the league. Hillis powers his way. This is Allstott-like, and a first down to the Oakland 49.
We got a Raider down on the field. Was right at the point of that first contact by Hillis. It was helmet to helmet or helmet to thigh.
Michael Huff is down, run over by the truck as Hillis just would not be brought down until he had the first down yardage. So a timeout early here in the 3rd quarter in Denver. Denver on the march. Michael Huff apparently is okay. They were working on his shoulder after that tackle, trying to tackle Peyton Hillis. First down Denver, just into Oakland territory, trailing 10-3, first possession, second half. Cutler hasn't been sacked today. Really sacked all year. Throws this one away, and it's Johnson again. He had blanketed Brandon Marshall on the sideline. Cutler has only been sacked all season 7 times, second best in the league in protecting the quarterback.
And it's nice play. Cutler puts it where anything can't be done. Cable.
Kick save and a beauty for Big Tom.
Almost goes down for the count. A little wide.
Yeah, you learn to move quickly when you grow up on a farm, having to deal with those critters, as he did up there in the state of Washington as a young man. Cutler finds a wide open Royal, who rolls forward for another yard, just short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 2. Howard grounds him. 3rd down and 2.
So now this drive here is more about Jay Cutler than it is anything else. I get sort of the feeling here in the stadium as the crowd finally settles back in here in the 3rd quarter. Is it Cutler's decided that he's going to move the ball down the field. He will make it happen.
Watch Stokely in motion here. The slot man. This is his kind of down. 3rd and 2. Cutler rolling. Has to hurry now. And the throw is complete to Marshall. Brandon Marshall to the sideline. And the first down. A flag is down. They hit Cutler as he threw it.
Another hit by Thomas Howard on Cutler.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 53 of the defense. Helmet to helmet contact.
Well, you thought the previous.
At the end of the play, first down.
Randy Cross, you thought the call late in the second quarter was a good hit, not a penalty. Let's see what happens this time.
Well, this first is just going to be the play, and that was a great throw by Cutler, sticking that into Marshall. But in real speed, I'm just going to. Does Thomas Howard look like he has air brakes on so he can absolutely stop himself? He's trying to pull off, and he's trying to slow down and stop.
Well, they are protecting the quarterback with a capital P for protection.
It's physically impossible
it is.
to stop. Physically impossible.
It is a contact game. Well, another 15-yard present to the Broncos, and a first down at the 15. Here's the reverse to Royal into the heavy traffic for a couple of yards. Raiders read it well. And a good stop by William Joseph, defensive tackle. Former New York Giant has his Super Bowl ring. Did not play, was on IR, but has the diamond anyway.
And this is a good example, Dick. We always talk about this with Mike Shanahan's offense. They like to script the first 15 or 20 plays. When they make halftime adjustments, they script their plays that way too. They've done that during the week. They figured out what they want to see in the first half. Here's what we'll do opening up the second half. So far, the script Jay Cutler's executing is pretty good.
Cutler under pressure, throws, and he had to throw in a hurry again, looking for Scheffler. And the pressure coming from Thomas Howard.
And Thomas Howard's coming in on the blitz. Watch him come on the blitz into Jay Cutler's face. And he tried to pull up before. Now he's really going to pull up.
It's flag football now.
Well, seriously, at some point, you have to say enough is enough. At some point, you have to let him play.
3rd down 7. Critical play here for Cutler, and here comes the pressure again. The quick throw is to Hillis, and he's a bit at the 6-yard line, and that's going to be very close to the first down. It'll depend on the mark. Rashad Baker made the tackle right at the yellow line. Referee Triplett looks at the yardsticks, and he wants to measure.
Yeah, it's just the marker on the sideline is just inside the 11-yard line, or just inside the 6-yard line for the first down. And this ball looks to be right on, almost splitting the 6-yard line. This could be a little bit short.
Well, they brought Thomas Howard on a blitz on almost every play in that sequence, didn't they?
Well, the good reason you bring him like that is no one's blocking him. I don't think we've seen anybody lay a glove on him any of the times he's blitzed.
That's a misses by a little more than it looked at first, so it's about a half yard.
I think you kick it here. I think you take your points and you let the rest of this half play out the way it's going to play.
Well, the crowd trying to help Shanahan, saying go for it, but if you keep listening to the crowd, as they say, you'll be sitting with them someday.
And even if you don't run a play here, you are playing the Raiders defense. They've been known to jump off a little bit. I know Tom Cable has emphasized a lot with that with his team, but Jay Cutler's got a very good cadence. And if I'm in that huddle for the Raiders, I'm screaming it, guys. Watch the ball. Don't listen to the snap count.
You saw big Gerard Warren, defensive tackle, strap it on. 4th down. Is this a legitimate try for the first down or try to pull him offside? Toss it to Hillis. Hillis has the first down and a touchdown. Mile high salute, and the Broncos are drawing even.
You want to know why? I think we might have another all-pro type left tackle in Denver. Zimmerman went in the Hall of Fame, and I'm not comparing the two, but this is a young Zimmerman. He pulls, he moves, he bumps, he ends up with Thomas Howard, and he gets a great assist from Hillis.
On fourth down, the Broncos get more than the first down. They find pay dirt, and now it's Prater with 2 missed field goals for the extra point. And it's tied at 10. What an impressive drive out of the locker room by the Broncos. 85 yards in 13 plays. Hillis from 6. Back in Denver, where it's tied at 10, and Tuesday on CBS, Simon Baker. He stars in TV's #1 new show. See why The Mentalist is the season's biggest new hit. That's Tuesday night, CBS, America's most watched network. So making amends, young Peyton Hillis. After the fumble at the 5, he scores from the 6. And we're tied at 10. Justin Miller, Pro Bowler 2 years ago with the Jets, because of his kickoff returns. And when he went to Honolulu, won that NFL's fastest man contest. Decent return. Jack Williams with the hit. Timeout in the Mile High City. And welcome back. The Raiders from the 30-yard line. Their first possession of the second half. Tom Cable, not only the head football coach, he's the line coach, and he's calling the plays for the first time since he was an assistant at UCLA. Let's see what he has cooked up here in the second half. Jamarcus Russell, he's going to go deep, deep, deep for Ashley Lalee, and he's got it at the 20-yard line. The long bomb threat when he was drafted in the first round by the Broncos. He connects in front of Dre Bly.
When you talk about Tom Cable calling those plays and wanting to get the ball down the field, you couldn't ask for a better arm at your disposal than Jamarcus Russell. He's got all the length you need. Right over the top of Bly, right into the basket of Ashley Lalee. Little arm fighting going on both ways. You could have called that a little bit of an arm hook by both guys. But good concentration by Ashley Lalee. Now they're in position. Can they do something with it?
What an effortless throw by Jamarcus Russell. 51 yards on the play, and nothing much here at all for Justin Fargas as he's smothered right at the line of scrimmage. Spencer Larson, the rookie from Arizona, has played both fullback and linebacker, filling in at middle linebacker, headed that charge. Well, Russell saddened with the news a week ago of the death of his beloved mother down in Mobile, Alabama. Left Saturday from practice, flew in a private jet down for the ceremony, and then returned here to Denver last night, and then had to catch up on whatever was accomplished in the Saturday morning practice of the Raiders. Boy, he threw that ball beautifully, didn't he? On 2nd and 10. Michael Bush is the tailback. Good protection. The throw to the end zone is incomplete. Lalee was down there along with Tony Stewart. Flag down.
That's going to be against the Broncos defense. Little offsides. Elvis Dumerville.
Offside. 92 of the defense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
5 yards against the Broncos. Only their third penalty of the game.
Little inflection. I'll give Quayme Harris a little credit at left tackle. Elvis Dumerville moves and Harris doesn't move. He's had a problem with that little flinch before the snap, and he's did a nice job of a little concentration, holding his water and not moving when the defender did.
What's the anatomical direction of flinch? Where is that? What part of the body?
Flinch is usually back, but sometimes can be side to side.
Thank you, doctor. Screen it, and he's got running room, McFadden. And he's caught from the behind, but not until he has a first down inside the 10. What else is happening in the NFL? To New York and JB.
Hey, Dick and Randy, trailing 17-3 to Atlanta. Carolina running back D'Angelo Williams caps a 5-play, 80-yard drive with that 5-yard TD run. It is now 17-10 Atlanta. 8:52 left in the third. Back to Dick Enberg and Randy Cross.
All right, James, good to hear from you. We thought you were hiding out on us. We'll get more reports as we move along in these late games on this Sunday. First and goal for the Oakland Raiders. It's Fargas with a hole, and he drives down to the goal line and just shy of the touchdown. Marked inside the 1. The Oakland Raiders have not scored an offensive touchdown since Week 8 at Baltimore, and that was debatable as Justin Griffith was toppled on a 2-yard play. He was lost for the season with an injury as he held onto the ball. There was a challenge, and it was ruled a touchdown. They've gone 204 plays since. 204.
You've got a 6'6", 275-pound quarterback. Sneak it for a yard.
Fargas again. Stacked up. 3rd and goal. Boy, this Bronco defense, the second time in the game that they've dug in with a ball on the 1 or 2 yard line.
Well, Robert Gallery and the left side of that offensive line get pushed back into the backfield, and Fargas has got to cut left suddenly and has nowhere to go. That's a beautiful job by the defense. All 3 linebackers met him at the ball.
You saw the eyes of Spencer Larson, the 6th-round pick from Arizona, who had made the team as a fullback. He's zeroed in on the stop. Actually a loss of a half yard. 3rd and goal. McFadden now a tailback. Will they try to go wide with the sprinter? There he goes. And he's got the speed to get it in the end zone. Touchdown Raiders. And that's got Coach Cable hopping.
There you go. He also gave you a little bit of that Arkansas. You get everybody going one way and you flip it back the other way. Totally unblocked. Everyone's going to the right. Jamarcus Russell, you just flip out and let the running back try to see what he can do. That's just purely a case of speed. I think there's a little pent-up frustration about his offense scoring for his head coach. Sometimes the line coach in him comes out, I'm sure.
Talk about a drought that finally ends on the 206th play. Finally an offensive score. Janikowski, the point after. And the Raiders don't go away. They answer the Broncos' first possession with a touchdown of their own. And the Cable Man has McFadden, his 2nd touchdown of the year. Darren McFadden, the 4th player picked in the draft from University of Arkansas. The first offensive TD in 15 quarters, 206 plays, in the first rushing TD in 8 games for Oakland. Here comes Eddie Royal, the spinner for the Broncos, and he meets resistance at the 23-yard line. By the way, Darren McFadden is the first Raider to score 2 touchdowns this year offensively. As Ashley Lilly cools on the sidelines, a reminder, critics call NCIS the hottest show on TV. Tuesday, one agent will make the ultimate sacrifice. A new NCIS Tuesday night, CBS, America's most watched network.
Hey, you know, Mark Harmon from NCIS was a wishbone quarterback with me.
At UCLA. Oh, was he a teammate at UCLA?
Yeah, I blocked for him for 2 years.
He was an outstanding football player, following, of course, his great All-America father, Tom Harmon. Hillis trying to find a hole, was patient, but none developed. No gain on the play as Kirk Morrison and company made the tackle. Back to Lilly, it was his 51-yard catch that set up that go-ahead touchdown for the Raiders, and Lilly now with 3 catches and 88 yards. He's always had a great yard per average on his catches throughout his career, and with the Broncos and others, he usually was up around 15, 16 yards a catch. His career, 17 yards plus every time he caught the ball. Here's Cutler, batted in the air, incomplete. Deflected by Big Turdell Sands, 6-year tackle out of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Well, you push the pocket back into the quarterback's face, and it's so important at times just then get your hands up. You saw Turdell Sands has that big elbow brace on that left arm. He's still able to get that left hand up and over enough to block that ball.
So 3rd and 10 for Cutler and the Broncos at their own 22. They've been solid on 3rd down. 67%. No pressure on Cutler. Throws deep, incomplete. Over the middle to Stokely, and he was blanketed by Stanford Rout. Cutler thought there was contact.
Well, he's being smart. He's throwing it the right side of the field, Dick, because last couple times that Denver's had the ball, I've watched Nnamdi Asomugha and whoever was on his side. And I know Willie Brown, his defensive back coach, tells them all the time, and Darren Perry, stay in the game. They're coming at you. They're coming at you. But they're being pretty smart. They're going after Johnson. They're going after the other side of the field.
It reminds me of the story of the late Bill King, the great announcer up in Oakland Bay Area. As that ball trickled down, Bill King said about Willie Brown, the Hall of Famer, what the earth is covered 2/3 by water and the other third by Willie Brown. Say that about Asomugha now. 17-10, the underdog Raiders leading here in Denver, moving late in the third quarter in 2 weeks. How about this one, fans? On CBS, Bama and Florida. Dick Enberg and Randy Cross up high in Mile High, and a surprising development so far.
Absolutely, and as many ways this game's gone back and forth. You can even imagine Nick Saban getting to play for an SEC championship in that Georgia Dome, going against a team like that. I mean, Florida is hot. Tebow is hot. And that game will be watched by about, I'd say 3/4 of all the college football fans in the entire country.
And up here in Rocky Mountain area, how about the Utes of Utah undefeated? And Boise State remains unbeaten with their close win yesterday. A lot of college excitement throughout the nation as we boil down to who will be in that BCS championship game. And the same with the NFL as we move to Thanksgiving week. It gives us a chance on behalf of all of us at CBS Sports to wish all of you a rich, meaningful, happy Thanksgiving. And I know for a lot of homes around the country, it's these economic times, it's hard to find a good smile. But on Thanksgiving, a good hug with family can do just that. So happy Thanksgiving from all of us. Russell has had a great day passing. He is 8 for 8. Crosses this one to McFadden, and they're trying to get the speedy halfback into the open field. He picks up about 5 on that play. We go to New York.
Hey, Dick Enberg, Eric Mann, our producer, wanted us to hug you with a few more highlights as Eli Manning hooks up with Madison Hedgecock, a little 2-yard toss there, capping a 4-play, 40-yard drive that came off of a Kurt Warner fumble. 24-12 Giants. Back to Dick Enberg and Randy Cross.
All right, JB, and your trusty sidekick, Eric Mann. 2nd and 5 for the Raiders. They lead by 7. It's McFadden. He finds some running room, and he's out across the 35, close to that yellow line. May have another first down on second effort. Engelberger and Larson collaborated on the tackle.
Hey, it's almost been, you talked about college football, Dick, and the enthusiasm about it. It's almost been a collegiate atmosphere offensively for this Oakland Raider football team. 9 passes by Jamarcus Russell. He's got nine good completions, and it's just running-wise, it's very simple, very simplistic game plan. Good execution.
Jamarcus, named after a favorite uncle, Marcus, has another first down. A perfect day throwing. Now he's giving it to McFadden again, and a flag goes down as McFadden is tackled at the 40-yard line. Marcus Thomas, who was injured in the first half, back in the game to make that stop.
It's going to be holding against the Raiders.
There's no foul on the play. 2nd down.
Waved it off. Wow. We're not going to wave off an update. Right back to New York and JB.
Dick, you thought we were hibernating. Now we've come alive here in the studio. Jason Campbell hooking up with Antoine Randall L, breaking a 10-all tie against Seattle. It's 17-10 Skins late in the third. Back to Dick Enberg and Randy Cross.
Yeah, sure, Dick. You had to encourage him. Thanks, JB.
The Big Bear is out of hibernation. As we have a timeout called by the Raiders here in Denver. 2nd down and 7 is the situation with 2:35 remaining in the third quarter. The importance of this game in the AFC West, these two rivals that go back to 1960 and the foundation of the AFL. Broncos with a 2-game lead. Boy, the Broncos have won 5 straight games by 1 point, by 2 points, by 3 points, by 4, and by 4. And they're in another close one today. San Diego plays Indianapolis in the game tonight. Denver with a win, and San Diego with its hands full with Peyton Manning. And the Colts and the Bronco fans were thinking, hey, maybe a 3-game lead. The Raiders are 2-8. Kansas City has lost 1-10.
If you get a 3-game lead after 11 games, that puts San Diego almost all the way out of your rearview mirror.
Well, those Charger fans watching in San Diego rooting for the Raiders, that's hard to do. McFadden, hard to get the yardage against the Broncos to make it Fargus off the handoff and down to the 44-yard line where it'll be 3rd and 2. Now, it's very difficult to find the ardent fans down at San Diego saying, go Oakland, come on Raiders, what they are today.
I don't get the general impression they're nuts about the Denver Broncos either.
No,
not from that game they had earlier this year.
Yeah, Rivers and Cutler sparring last year, and then San Diego still moaning the bad fate of a call that cost them a game here in the second week of the season. Third and short. McFadden, he's going to throw the ball, and no one there. Oh, yes, there is, and a catch by Miller, the tight end, but it's not good enough for a first down. It's Bush, the left-hander. Oh, yeah. McFadden's the left-handed, and so is Bush, and they do get the first down. What a catch. It looked like it was overthrown.
If there were a basketball hoop, that ball would have gone right through the hoop and would have been ripping net. But Zach Miller gets up with that right hand and just brings it back down.
What a catch by Miller, the tight end.
Look how high he got off the ground. That was a beautiful extension, batting it down, back down to himself. I want to see this guy catch more passes if I'm a Raider fan. He is a huge weapon.
That was Michael Bush's first NFL pass. And here is Jamarcus looking deep. No one open, throws into a crowd. 3 men covering Tony Stewart. Incomplete. First ball to hit the ground for Jamarcus Russell. And Coach Tom Cable said all week long, not a ball hit the ground in practice. Russell was that sharp, and he's carried it into this game today.
Well, when they look back and Coach Cable sees that play, there's an advantage sometimes of throwing a ball into a close area. You can't believe it because the defenders couldn't believe that ball was thrown in that area either. There was no one open where Jamarcus threw that ball. There was 2 defenders. I don't think he could even see his receiver who was behind him.
And a third in close vicinity. He had Lilly singled up going deep. And around to Johnny Lee Higgins, the touchdown maker on the punt return. Look at that cutback. And he's down to the 39 and close to a first down as he skids right to the yellow line. It'll depend on the spot.
It's going to be about a football, about a foot and a half short.
Wesley Woodyard, the free agent from Kentucky linebacker, tripped him up.
We talk about those air brakes. Look at the brakes this guy's got. Johnny Lee Higgins, he suddenly just turns into that punt returner you talked about. And, you know, defensive players, especially linebackers, they play a lot of special teams as they come up in the league, but they're not used to having to make somebody tackle somebody that's got some stop and go like that.
Look who's getting warmed up. Janikowski, even though the ball's on the 39, he might try one from around 60. Fargas would want the first down and gets it and more. Drives to the 30-yard line. And the Raiders have a first down with time running out in the third quarter. It will go to the fourth. Raiders in scoring position on the 30 of Denver, leading in this game 17-10. We'll return to Colorado after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back in the land of the Broncos, we go to the fourth quarter. Dick Enberg and Randy Cross. Upstart Oakland seeking its third win of the season with a 17-10 lead and a first down as we resume play on the 30 of Denver.
McFadden out at wide receiver, top of the screen, Dick.
And they're going to throw to McFadden. He's bumped off guard. Is there a flag on the play?
Yes, there is.
You bet. He was knocked off pace by Marquand Manuel, the safety, who pleads his case. This time the yellow belongs to Denver.
Pass interference. Number 33 in the defense. Automatic first down.
Ruling is he impeded the progress of the receiver. We'll take another look at it.
Well, one thing you can't do, I know you have right to a certain area on the field, but you can't cut right in front of the receiver and cut him off as he's going to the ball. And that's what they're ruling that Marquand Manuel did. He cut off McFadden. Shows you a little bit about the faith that Tom Cable has in his star halfback as a receiver to put him out there at wide receiver, match him up with a safety.
24-yard penalty, first and goal on the 6. Fargas at tailback. Luke Lawton, the fullback. Fargas gets a couple to the 4-yard line. And this is where it's been toughest of all for the Raiders throughout the day. Remember, they scored from a yard out on McFadden after the Broncos had stiffened deep into their own end, and also in the first half denied a touchdown when the Raiders had the ball on the 1-yard line.
This is also the part of the field I'm a little surprised that Tom Cable doesn't get Zach Miller more involved in the passing game. Big, physical, athletic. We've seen him go up and catch a ball already. Get him, post him up like a small forward, and let him use some basketball skills.
Ronald Curry, who hasn't caught a pass, is the man in motion. They look at Lawton. They're going to have to throw this one away. No, throws in the end zone for a touchdown to Lally. Ashley Lally comes back to bite his former team here in Denver. His 4th catch of the game, and Lally has his 2nd touchdown of the season.
Well, you can talk about whatever you want with inexperience. Jamarcus Russell knows he's got an arm, and he unleashes the hose here because he's going right, and at the last second just zips this in. Look at the window. I mean, the window almost does not exist that he fits it in between Winborn and Larson, and it just zips right in there to Ashley Lally. That's all arm strength.
And without stepping into the throw at all, just whipped it for the score. Here's Janikowski's point after. And the Raiders have come to Denver as a big underdog and lead by 14 early in the 4th. A perfect dart to Lally and the score. Broncos on the road the last 2 weeks have rallied in Cleveland to win by 4 and in Atlanta late to win by 4. They've got to make up 14 now, and they have 14 minutes in which to do it.
So much for scoring droughts, huh?
That one was 74 yards in 10 plays for the Raiders. Jamarcus Russell's 7th touchdown pass of the year. Janikowski kicks this one toward Boulder.
There's another 85-yarder.
A reminder, folks, to join us Thanksgiving Thursday, the great tradition. And Detroit fullback now with Tennessee. Cutler throws long for Scheffler. Is it a catch?
I think so.
Yes, he did stay in bounds at the 38-yard line, stretching with all his might to pull that one in, Scheffler.
He has to have it, and he's got to get 2 feet in. Wow, just did dot that second one in as he was falling to the ground.
Gain of 18 to Scheffler, and Cable's not convinced. He thought the knee hit out of bounds before the toe tap. It was in front of him, so he had a good look.
Well, Jabril Wilson, the safety, did a nice job in coverage, and Tony Scheffler had to make one heck of a diving catch, but I think he got it. I think he got both feet down.
Oakland is challenging the ruling on the field of a catch at the sideline.
And while they review, that was.
And by seeing the note taking going on there with the extra official that's there now with the change they made this week, tends immediately they're going to overturn it.
The receiver catches the ball with his right foot down, but his left hand hits out of bounds. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass. Oakland is not charged a timeout.
So we were looking at the feet, but not the hand.
One more challenge as a result of winning both the first 2.
A serious bang, bang. And here's the bang, bang in order. Bang, bang. That left foot is still off the ground when the left hand hits out of bounds.
How tight is this? If you were to poll the fans of the country, they'd have said 50-50 on that one. Rarely is that one called. It's usually you're looking at the feet, not the hand. But the stretch forced the hand to come down first.
And it's not by much, Dick. I mean, it's barely. But the foot is clearly off the ground right there, I think. And right there, the hand is down on the white.
Boy, is that close. Yeah. So Shanahan loses 18 yards on the review. It's 2nd and 10 at the 20. Cutler fires to the side to Stokely. Stokely by the jersey, taken out of bounds at the 23 by Chris Johnson. Boy, there's one of the stars of the day for the Oakland Raiders, Chris Johnson. He has played a superb corner.
Last week we had a cornerback go out for Jacksonville, and Chris Carr had to play a lot. Normally just a kick returner, 3rd or 4th corner, didn't play very much. Chris Johnson is starting in this game in front of Stanford Routt, who many assumed would get that job when D'Angelo Hall was released by Tom Cable and the Raiders, and he's played beautiful man-to-man defense.
Only 2 yards on the gain, so 3rd and 8. Cutler to the sideline, intercepted by Thomas Howard. Howard cuts in front of the receiver, and it's the Raiders' ball in Denver territory around the 35-yard line. It was intended for Tony Scheffler.
You hear that term man under all the time with two man. With a two up top for safeties. Everybody else is in man. Thomas Howard, left side of the screen, matched up against Scheffler. He's in man. The safety over the top is there to help. He doesn't need any help. The ball's thrown underneath. There is no window. Should never have been thrown there. And Howard gets a pick.
And Thomas Howard, who had a sensational 2007 season with 6 interceptions to lead his team 2 for touchdowns. That's his first this year. We talked about him at the start. He can cover as well as any backer. The give is to Justin Fargas. He leaps through a hole, leaps again, and hurdles his way down to the 23-yard line. And the few Raider fans here in Denver have a chance to voice their pleasure. Let's go to JB in New York.
Dick and Randy up in the Pacific Northwest. It is a nip and tuck battle there. Seattle tying it back up when Matt Hasselbeck hooks up with John Carlson. 10 yards, 10 plays, 62 yards, all knotted at 17. 11:50 left in regulation. Dick and Randy.
All right, thank you, JB. The Seahawks have had a troubled season, but battling hard against the Skins. On first down, Fargas again runs into his own blocker, plowing down to the 17-yard line, again close to 5. Dwayne Robertson, the ex-Jet tackle, got a piece of the ball carrier.
And not real hard to figure out the strategy here. You get the Jay Cutler interception. You get the ball on your side or their side of the field if you're Tom Cable and the Raiders. You just want to run it. You got a beautiful job by the offensive line on the first play, blasting a big hole. And now you're just going to keep banging away with McFadden and banging away with Fargas.
Cable, who has won 1 of his 5 games since taking over from Lane Kiffin as head coach of the Raiders. Second down call, and it's to Michael Bush. Bush, who sat out all of last year with a broken leg that he suffered as a senior at the University of Louisville. He even played high school and quarterbacked at Bush, and that explains his left-handed pass we saw earlier.
And you're seeing him play at fullback. They're getting he and McFadden on the field at the same time, usually using Bush up front as a fullback. A little bit of a different role for him, but it might be a clue in as to something you'll see much more in the future from the Raiders running back.
Well, he hits the Toledos at 245. Third down and long, and Fargas off the right side. First down and out of bounds inside the 10. Manuel ran him out.
This is a pretty easy execution by the Raiders. They are going to crease a tunnel into the defense of the Denver Broncos. Just crease yourself a little tunnel. Cooper Carlisle, nice job. Harris, just great job on the right side of the Oakland Raiders. Just blasting things out there. You've heard a lot about Cornell Green and the size that he has. That was good power. Cooper Carlisle did a nice job sticking on that block, and that was way too easy.
Fargas, the leading rusher for the Raiders this year, 75 today. First and goal from inside the 10, and the give to Fargas, and he's down close to the 6-yard line into the arms of Engelberger. Well, Tom Cable, since he took over the previous 6 games, his team has not scored more than 1 offensive touchdown. He's gotten 2 today and down close to looking for number 3 thanks to the effort of Thomas Howard on the pick.
And they've got their real fullback in the game, Luke Lawton, out of McNeese State. We saw him jump offside a little bit earlier. If he gets a chance, he will light up a linebacker.
McFadden now a tailback, and he gets the toss. Stays on his feet, knocked out of bounds shy of the goal line.
Did he get it?
Did he reach out? Roderick Rogers made the tackle, but they're marking it at the 1-yard line.
His left foot may have been out of bounds before he reached out with the ball to hit the pylon, because he definitely hit the pylon with the ball. Watch his left leg. Right there, beautifully marked by the official, perfectly. He is out of bounds. There is white paint on the outside of that shoe, and he gets the pylon with the ball.
Ball, while the foot was back at the 2, is out of bounds at the 1.
I don't know. I'd challenge right now. If I was Tom Cable, I'd throw.
Well, he's not. He's 2 for 2 on challenges. It's third and goal at the 1. This could decide the game. A Raider touchdown, and easily McFadden for the score. His second today. And Tom Cable's Raiders have come to Denver, and they are authoring a very surprising result.
Well, right behind Robert Gallery and Quaim Harris and that fullback, Luke Lawton, we talked about. McFadden, easy pickings. Lawton goes in and finds himself Winborn, and Gallery and Quaim Harris have already done the heavy lifting in front of him. That's an easy touchdown.
McFadden's second 1-yard run for a score, and Janikowski for the extra point.
This crowd is stunned.
Thomas Howard's interception adds to 7, and the toothless offense of the Raiders this year has come in with a big bite in Denver. You've been there. 206 plays without a touchdown, and then in 18 plays, 3 touchdowns for the Oakland Raiders. And long kickoff by Janikowski, and Cutler and company will start at the 20. Well, what would Thanksgiving be without a good wingman? Well, you can find out on the new Big Bang Theory tomorrow night. CBS, America's most watched network.
Yeah, Tom Cable was absolutely right, though, last night when he said that this offense is ready to explode. I mean, there's going to be a deluge. It's held back and held back and held back, usually holding themselves back. And unfortunately for the Broncos, they've exploded on them.
Yeah, the dam is broken in the second half. The give to Hillis hit in the backfield, and he doesn't make it to the line of scrimmage as Kalimba Edwards was in there early. Well, the Broncos, and the bad sign, there was an omen very early in the game. First possession, the Broncos took it all the way down the field, almost at ease, and on the 5-yard line, a simple handoff to Hillis, and Hillis couldn't pull it in. The handoff fumbled right into the arms of Jabril Wilson of the Raiders, and it's gone sour since for Shanahan. Now Cutler throwing to the sidelines, incomplete, and he had to hurry that one to Stokely, incomplete. Well, here's another report. New York, JB.
Hey, Dick and Randy, trailing by 12. Arizona has narrowed the gap now to 5. Rookie Tim Hightower, 9th rushing touchdown of the season, capping a 12-play, 90-yard drive that is now 24-19, starting the 4th quarter play in the desert. Dick and Randy.
Thank you. Giants trying to go 9-1 on the year. In the first place, Cardinals look at 8-3 with a victory. Cutler on 3rd down and long, and he's going long to the sideline. Wide open is Marshall. No one picked him up, and he's still on his feet. They haven't whistled this play dead at the 50, and finally dumped there by Jabril Wilson. Boy, Marshall almost like he was hiding into the Denver bench. No one found him.
Great job of protection, because Kalimba Edwards almost gets there in time, but he doesn't. Cutler's got the time to throw it. He takes a big hit and throws his own little frozen rope out there to Brandon Marshall.
Marshall, the leading receiver. And now it's Hillis up the middle for another first down inside the 40-yard line. Wilson again, the tackler.
Well, now you got to be careful if you're Oakland. Don't go into uh-oh mode, where suddenly the other offense starts moving it and you start having second thoughts. Do we have enough points? Are we far enough ahead? Cutler can lead some comebacks now.
He can score in a hurry with that strong arm of his. This one's going to be almost intercepted. It was in the arms of Asamoah, and that's one of the reasons why he is the most feared cornerback by many coaches around the league. That ball was right in his arms. He had 8 interceptions 2 years ago, didn't make the Pro Bowl. He looks for his second. Here he has it for a moment.
17 balls coming into this game thrown at him. 8 were for completions. I guarantee you he hasn't had that good a chance for an interception in a long time.
Now the handoff inside goes to Tatum Bell, and Bell inside the 25 with a flag.
A little early start against the Broncos, I think.
This crowd of 76,000, those that have stayed, has become almost silent. Not much to cheer.
Illegal motion, number 19 in the offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So the Broncos, when they have lost, that being at Kansas City 33-19, and then they lost 3 in a row, Jacksonville, New England 41-7, and Miami. And they've won the close ones, and they've been able to rally, but they've dug a deep hole here in the 4th quarter today.
Well, you know, the San Diego Chargers have got one eye on our TV right now, hoping this holds up. Down 21 points with 8 minutes to go. Sitting 2 games behind Denver. It would be a perfect opportunity to pick up some space.
Those two teams who met in a thriller early in the year, one on a 2-point conversion, 39-38 by Denver, will meet again in the final game of the regular season in San Diego. Bell now with Cutler on 2nd and 15. The deep throw for Marshall is to the sidelines, and for the first time since we've been watching Cutler, who's had a sensational year, he's been off the mark from the start. He's thrown a lot of, he's a very, very accurate passer. Coaches all marvel at how accurate he is. Not today.
Not today, not so much. And they keep trying to throw it long. They keep trying to get Chris Johnson. And again, it was Brandon Marshall and Chris Johnson. And I don't think he missed that throw as much as he saw how close Johnson and Marshall were together. He basically threw that one over their heads and threw it away.
Cutler started 9 for 12, 7 for 24 cents. As Hillis gets a couple of yards to the 37, and now the Bronco fans express their displeasure. He's been the best in the league in the 4th quarter with yards and touchdowns until today. And that explains those rallies and close wins.
Yeah, it really does. And the confidence that Jay Cutler has in himself, too.
He is confident.
Oh, he is very, very confident. You don't make some of the statements he's made and not have a lot of confidence in yourself. It's 4th down. They're going to go for it here on 4th. They'll need 11.
Come out in the spread with Stokely in the slot. And Cutler guns it up the middle, complete to Marshall. A flag down, and Marshall has the first down at the 22. If it is not against Denver, if it's against the Broncos, this one will come back.
It's going to be holding against the Oakland Raider defense, I think. There was a lot of contact in the backfield, specifically against Brandon Stokely.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding defense, number 26. Personal foul, chop block. Offense, number 22, number 60. Those penalties are offset. Repeat, 4th down.
So it'll be 4th and 11 again.
So offsetting penalties. First of all, the holding on Stokely against Stanford route right there. He's got the right hand.
Look at Stokely. He grabs him to prove the point.
I can't move my right arm. Do you call that holding? And then it was an offsetting penalty against Denver. I believe it was Hillis is who the penalty was called on. So now we'll do it again.
Yeah, the lineman had the defender for the Raiders engaged when Hillis blocked up high on the chop block. So again, final gasps here by Denver. They need the 10 for the first down. And they don't get it. Through the hands of Marshall, incomplete, and the Raiders take over on downs. And Cutler argues his case, but is not going to get the flag.
Not even close. That was a beautiful job by Chris Johnson. Brandon Marshall wouldn't open, and Jay Cutler, come on, you know it.
Back with the Raiders owning the ball and the lead with 6:47 to go. Let's look at that last play. Was this interference?
Marshall and Johnson, he tries to give him a little bit of a gimmick like, hey, watch me. Now right here in slow motion, that would appear just to be a hold. I think it was ruled to be sort of an incidental contact between the 2 left arms, and Jay Cutler had no doubts in his military mind. He knew that was holding. I don't know if they got away with one. There was nothing I didn't think was utterly blatant right there. Though I'm sure the Denver quarterback would argue with me on that one.
Well, these are desperate times. They needed that to continue possession. A couple of fans decided to invade the terrain and have been carted off by the security. As we remind you tonight on first down, it's Fargas. He tries the right tackle where they've made some good gains in this second half. Short yardage there. Dwayne Robertson with the tackle, and the clock will run.
Yeah, pretty simple formula here for the Raiders. Keep running it, and if you're the Denver Broncos, you know, injuries will obviously stop the clock, but you've got to stop it with your defense. Get the ball back to your offense as soon as possible. That was Kyle Larson, the linebacker, down on that hit.
Spencer Larson, who...
Spencer Larson, I'm sorry.
There's a Kyle Larson in the league, too. And this very charismatic young man. He
gets undercut on the back of his legs. If you're lucky, that just scares you more than it hurts you. And in this case, I think it hurt him more. He landed with those right ribs right onto the thigh of Quayme Harris, knocked the wind out of him probably.
Second down 8. Back to Fargus. He battles to the 45 where it'll be 3rd down and 3. Jamie Winborn, another tackle for the Broncos. Fargus now his total up to 86 yards in the game.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple thing right here, Dick, for the rest of this game at 5:47 or so and counting. You give up a 1st down here, you're going to give this offense of Tom Cable so much confidence. I don't believe the Denver Broncos will get the ball back if they give up a 1st down right now.
Oakland next week will go home to host the Kansas City Chiefs and then to San Diego on a Thursday night game. Third and 3. And Jamarcus keeps it. No one picks him up, and he has the easy 1st down across the 50-yard line. Good fake by Russell, who that big body can run. Well, for those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS in the game between the Raiders and Broncos in Denver. I'm Dick Enberg with Randy Cross, and our score, surprising as it may be, the underdog Raiders leading 31-10. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time. So there's the 1st down and the clock running. Broncos do have their 3 timeouts. Whether they'll use them down by 3 touchdowns, we'll see. Back to Fargus. And he's flirting with a century day as Fargus on the ground after a slow start. The AFC playoff picture, Tennessee with its first loss, Pittsburgh Jets and Denver, should they lose, drop to 6-5. Another injury, Josh Shaw, defensive tackle for the Broncos. And wild card best are the Ravens. And
it's getting a little jovial on that Raiders sideline. They haven't had a chance to do that in a while. You know, Tom Cable said last week we were in a game with Miami. We took the lead. I looked at their sideline. They looked like they were positive they were going to win and come back. I looked at my sideline, and my guys weren't really quite positive that we were going to win the game.
Not the conviction. He said, I've got to help them not just get excited about a late lead, but be in the belief that they're going to win the game. This should help that attitude. McFadden now the tailback on 2nd and 2. And he's to the 40-yard line, close to a 1st down, shy by a yard. Check the other standings here of note. The NFC, here are the division leaders with the Giants at 9-1, Carolina 8-2, and they're in a battle with Atlanta. Arizona 7-3, fighting the Giants. There's another surprise in the league this year. The Cardinals coming to maturity, and Chicago at 6-5, best in the NFC North.
I tell you, a team to keep a real close eye on right here is right there, Tampa Bay. John Gruden is doing one of the really nice jobs in the league coaching. Jeff Garcia is starting to play. He's been motivated, and that defense for Monty Kiffins is playing as well as it has all in the last couple of years.
McFadden easily picks up the 1st down on 3rd and 1 to the 36-yard line, and the clock will chew away under 3 minutes now. A reminder, 60 minutes as per usual, except on the West Coast, immediately following our action here from Denver, and then stay tuned for our typically outstanding night of entertainment on CBS. Well, Tom Cable is about as likable a coach as you want to find. He's a coach all of his life, grew up on a farm, was in the 4-H and FFA, and battled his way through, played at Idaho, played as a replacement player with the Colts when Gary Hogaboom was his quarterback. Fargus and the defense of the Denver Broncos now has been beaten down, and another 1st down. Well, the Raiders, the rest of the season, Kansas City at home, at San Diego. Then they entertain New England and Houston before they finish at Tampa Bay. And we are at the 2-minute warning here in Denver with the Oakland Raiders. This is the actual score, fans, if you're just tuning in, leading 31-10. Thomas Howard and company will enjoy the flight home back to the Bay with this big lead. And Jamarcus Russell, the young strong-arm quarterback, had quite an afternoon.
He really did. 10 of 11, huh, Dick? Today, the last 2 weeks, he's 25 of 33. 75% completion through 2 games. Lost last week in Miami, and you're not going to beat a whole lot of people in this league throwing it 11, 12 times in a game.
How about that rating? 149.
But this offensive line, too, you can't ignore the job they did up in front of them.
And that's with John Wade subbing for Jay Grove at center, with Quaim Harris, Robert Gallery, Cooper Carlisle, and Cornell Green doing the heavy work. And Justin Fargas adding to his 106 yards rushing today. Well, for the Broncos then, with a defeat today, they fall to 6-5, and more fans come on the field, sadly. The Jets at New York next week for Denver, and the Jets flush with their big win and their great season under Brett Favre. And then it's Kansas City here at Carolina. No easy game there against the tough Panthers. Then they host Buffalo. Buffalo found the winning ways today against Kansas City, and then the concluding game of the season at San Diego. Who knows? That could be one of the big games of the entire year.
And Dick, we started this day off talking about what a fabulous job Mike Shanahan and his coaching staff had done this year so far. And I'll be honest with you, Dick, I really think this will be Mike Shanahan's biggest challenge in 2008. It won't have been the injuries. It'll have been getting this team back and confident again after losing the game the way they did to the Raiders.
Here's the lineup on CBS. Ball down at the 23-yard line. Justin Fargas with his top day of the season with workhorse 24 carries and 107 yards, and Darren McFadden there to pick up a couple of 1-yard touchdowns with his speed. And as McFadden becomes healthier with that turf toe that has slowed him down most of the year, and this Raider defense has played well, and if the offense picks up its share, not going to be easy seeing that Raider team, despite their record, on your schedule to close out the year. So let's update the AFC West. Denver with a loss, 6-5. San Diego meets the Colts a bit later tonight in San Diego. The Raiders moved to 3-8. And Kansas City lost again today. They are 1-2. Now the ball down at the 24-yard line. Gerard Warren found a couple of aliens from Oakland that had invaded Mile High Stadium. There are some silver and black here to cheer the Oakland Raiders, their fan base, the Raider Nation, very proud of their team, even though it's been a disappointing year. And what a win. Their biggest game of the year, 31-10. Tom Cable's team comes to Bronco Country and goes home with a 21-point upset victory. So the final score, the Oakland Raiders 31, the Denver Broncos 10. Tonight on CBS, it's 60 Minutes, Amazing Race, Cold Case, and the Unit. For Randy Cross, this is Dick Enberg. So long from Denver. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.